Hello and welcome to English at Fingertips. In this video, I am going to discuss the poem Lucy Gray. This poem has been written by the famous romantic poet William Wordsworth. So without any further delay, let us start with the line-by-line description of the poem Lucy Gray. Often I had heard of Lucy Gray. In the first line of the poem, the poet says that he had often heard stories about a little girl whose name was Lucy Gray. And when I crossed the wild, now here wild refers to an uncultivated area where very few people live. In this line, the poet wants to say that when he crossed the wild, I chanced to see at break of day. He by chance saw at break of day. Break of day refers to dawn or early morning. So whom did he see? The solitary child. Now here the meaning of solitary is lonely or having no companion. In this stanza, the poet says that he had already heard stories about Lucy Gray, and one day while he was crossing through the wild, he by chance saw Lucy Gray. She was all alone and the time was early morning. No mate, no comrade Lucy knew. Now mate refers to friends and comrade refers to a companion. In this line, the poet says that Lucy did not have any friends or companions. She dwelt on a wild moor. The meaning of the word dwelt is lived. And the word moor refers to a hilly area covered with bushes and little plants. Lucy did not have any friends or companion and she used to live on a wild hilly land. The sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. Now in these two lines, the poet describes Lucy Gray. He says that Lucy Gray was the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. This line shows how innocent Lucy Gray was. She was a little girl and she was very innocent. So in this stanza, the poet says that Lucy neither had any friends or companions and she used to live on a wild moor. And then he goes on to say that Lucy is the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. Which means that Lucy is one of the most innocent child that someone will ever find. You yet may spy the fawn at play. The meaning of the word spy is to see, and the word fawn refers to a baby deer. In this line, the poet says that you might see a baby deer playing nearby, the hare upon the green. Or you might even see the hare who is playing upon the green field. These two animals, the fawn and the hare, both of them are very swift moving animals. It is very hard to spot them. And whenever they see humans, they run away. So there is very little chance that one might find a fawn at play or a hare upon the green. But the sweet face of Lucy Gray will never more be seen. In this stanza, the poet says that you might spy the baby deer or the hare playing on the grass, but you are never going to see the sweet face of Lucy Gray again. So in this stanza, there is a sudden shift. The poet creates a mystery, but the poet tells us that something must have happened to Lucy Gray. Tonight will be a stormy night. You to the town must go. In this line, someone is telling Lucy that night is going to be a stormy night. There will be thunderstorms. But that person also says that Lucy must go to the town and take a lantern, child, to light your mother through the snow. Now why would Lucy have to go to the town? She must go to the town to bring her mother back. Her mother was outside and Lucy must take a lantern. Here a lantern refers to a portable lamp. So Lucy must take a lantern in order to bring her mother back safely into their home before the storm arrives. That, father, will I gladly do. Now, through this line, it is clear that the person who was telling Lucy to bring her mother back was her father. Lucy, being an innocent child, tells that she will gladly bring her mother back. It is scarcely afternoon. The meaning of the word scarcely is hardly. So Lucy tells her father not to worry. It is only afternoon and she would definitely bring her mother back safely. The minster clock has just struck 2, and yonder is the moon. By the word minster clock, the poet refers to the church clock. Lucy is saying that it is only 2 o'clock in the afternoon and yonder is the moon. The word yonder refers to a thing that can be seen but it is very far away. So Lucy says that it is only afternoon and the moon is very far away. Lucy has lots and lots of time before the evening arrives, and the storm was supposed to arrive at night, so there is nothing to worry. At this, the father raised his hook and snapped a faggot band. So, upon hearing that Lucy is bringing her mother back, the father raised his hook. Now, here a hook refers to a sickle that is used to cut something, and snapped. Snapped means to cut. So, he cut a faggot band. A faggot band refers to a string used to tie sticks of wood. Upon hearing that Lucy is going to bring her mother back, her father took a sickle and he started to cut a string used to tie sticks of wood. He plied his work, and Lucy took the lantern in her hand. The meaning of the word plied is to carry on. So his father carried on the work that he was already doing, and Lucy took the lantern in her hand and went out of the house. Not bleither is the mountain row. Bleither refers to being happier, and the mountain row refers to a small female deer. Now, in this line, Lucy has been compared to a small female deer. The poet is telling that Lucy Gray was no less happy than a small female deer. With many a wanton stroke, her feet disperse. Now, with many a wanton stroke. Now, a wanton stroke refers to carefree and playful movements. Her feet disperse. Here, disperse refers to scatter. So, in this line, we get to see how Lucy was moving. She was moving in a playful manner and she was playfully scattering the powdery snow, and the snow rises up like smoke. And as she was scattering the snow, it looked as if there has been smoke all around. The storm came on before its time. The storm was supposed to come during night, but it came earlier than expected. She wandered up and down. Now here wandered means to travel aimlessly. The storm came on and Lucy could not figure out what to do. She lost her way and she travelled aimlessly up and down the hills. And many a hill did Lucy climb, but never reached the town. Lucy tried her best. She climbed up many hills, but she never reached the town. She was lost in the storm. The wretched parents all that night went shouting far and wide. The meaning of the word wretched is very sad. Lucy did not come back, so the parents went out searching for Lucy. They were very sad and they were shouting Lucy's name so that Lucy could hear them. But there was neither sound nor sight to serve them for a guide. But as much as they were shouting, there was absolutely no response from the other side. They were shouting at the top of their voices, but they could neither hear Lucy nor they could see her. As they did not get any response from Lucy, they were confused about which direction they should go. At daybreak on a hill they stood that overlooked the moor. When it was morning at last, Lucy's parents were standing on the top of a hill that overlooked the moor. Now the word overlooked means to rise above. The moor was just below the hills, so Lucy's parents were standing on the hill so that they could see all around the moor from above. And thence they saw the bridge of wood, a furlong from their door. The word furlong refers to a unit of distance equal to 220 yards. While Lucy's parents were standing over the hill, they saw the bridge of wood, and the bridge was only 220 yards from their door. And now they homeward turned and cried, "In heaven we all shall meet." Lucy Gray's parents had lost their hope. They were returning to their home and they were crying. They had accepted that Lucy is dead, and thus they are saying that they are going to meet Lucy again in heaven. When in the snow the mother spied the print of Lucy's feet, the parents were hopeless, and at this very moment Lucy's mother saw the footprints of Lucy on the snow. Then downward from the steep hill's edge, they tracked the footmarks small. Thus, after seeing Lucy's footmarks, her parents started to follow the footmarks downward from the steep hill's edge. Now, the meaning of the word steep is having a sharp slope. They found the footmarks going downward from a steep hill, and through the broken hawthorn hedge, and by the long stone wall. A hawthorn hedge refers to a row of small trees with thorns. Thus, while tracking Lucy's footmarks, Lucy's parents saw that she came down from a hill and then she passed through a hawthorn hedge. And in the process of passing through the hedge, she broke it. This suggests that Lucy was terrified. She was running. She wanted to reach her home as quickly as she could, but she was lost. And then her parents also found her footsteps beside a long stone wall. Thus, in this stanza, we are presented with a glimmer of hope. There is still a hope that Lucy might be alive. And then an open field they crossed. The marks were still the same. After passing by the stone walls, Lucy's parents came across an open field and they could still spot Lucy's footsteps. They tracked them on, nor ever lost, and to the bridge they came. So they kept on tracking the footsteps until they came to a bridge. They followed from the snowy bank the footmarks one by one into the middle of the plank, and farther there were none. Lucy's parents continuously followed the footmarks, and at last they came into the middle of a plank. The word plank refers to a long, flat piece of wood, which means Lucy's parents came into the middle of the bridge, and farther there were none, and they could see no more footsteps beyond the bridge. Lucy came until here, and thereafter there was no trace of Lucy. This stanza suggests that Lucy might have fallen from the bridge. Yet some maintain that to this day she is a living child. The word maintain refers to belief. The poet says that Lucy is still alive. She is a living child. Lucy's body was never found, so people believed that Lucy is still living. That you may see sweet Lucy Gray upon the lonesome wild. People still believed that if one walks through the wild, one might see Lucy Gray again. If you remember the first stanza, Wordsworth starts off with seeing Lucy Gray at the break of day. Now, that was not the Lucy Gray that was living, rather, it was the spirit of Lucy Gray that he had heard about from people. Thus, this stanza borders on the supernatural. Lucy was dead, but people used to spot her here and there, and so did Wordsworth. Over rough and smooth, she trips along and never looks behind. Lucy still travels through rough and smooth surfaces, and she trips along. The meaning of the word trips is to walk or run with quick, light steps. And she never looks behind, and sings a solitary song that whistles in the wind. So, in the last two lines of the poem, the poet leaves us with an eerie feeling. Even after she was lost, people still saw her walking over the moor. And she never looks behind, but she used to sing a solitary song. Now, here also we find the word solitary. That is, she used to sing alone, and the song used to whistle in the wind. The song used to create such an effect that it would feel as if the song is part of the wind that is blowing. She was no longer a human child, she was a spirit. But even after being a spirit, the innocence of Lucy stands out. Through this poem, Wordsworth as if tries to show that the innocence of Lucy was such that she was too good for the human world. That's why nature took her. She at last became a part of nature. This is how the poem ends. The mystery created throughout the poem still stays intact, and it is up to the readers to analyze the poem as they wish. That is all for today. See you in the next video.